Hello,
everyone, and welcome back to the last video of the series that we're having, where I'm interviewing the author of Ash and the Midas Touch. There you see that. And that's Catherine J Elliss, who's holding the book. She's a lovely author, and she is the founder and CEO of Imagineering to a Better World, a social enterprise. This is her first book in her G2M Money Smart series. If you want to know more about what is G2M Money Smart series, please watch our previous videos, and there's a lot of information about the book that we'll be revealing right now. So, Catherine, tell us about yourself, because we haven't really spoken about that much.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I've had a very broad background, and in the last video we talked, I've been working since I was little in our family business. I was working for an external organisation, which was a general store, from when I was 12, and I worked there for 5.5 years. I worked there school holidays and even long weekends and different things. And I had my first and second business when I was 13. And so I've always been in business, but I've also done teaching as well. So I've done all sorts of teaching. Initially, I was doing English and speech and drama teaching. Later on, I went back and I did a Bachelor of Arts Asian Studies with Indonesian and Economics, and ended up going back and actually finishing my teaching at that time. So I'd been doing ESL teaching in different countries and in Australia. So when you're doing English as a second language teaching, obviously you're teaching all sorts of things. But to me, and I teach Indonesian. I teach lots of different things. I've taught careers, English, history, many different things. So usually I talk about that I have a broad background in business and education, because each of those things I've taught it, I've done at different levels and in different countries. So I also have run a not-for-profit. I've run an economic development unit for a local government authority and been involved in international aid. So I have a very broad background,
Yeah.
and sometimes, and I see the world very different. So, for example, some people talk about personal development, but I would say you've got, everything we do in life, and I mentioned this in probably a couple of the videos, where income minus expenses equals your future, whether you are an individual, an organisation, or a country. So, as an individual, I can come alongside and I coach people. And on the website im2.tv, you can go to the products and services page to find out more. And so, but if I'm dealing with an organisation or even with a community, then it's consulting. So it's exactly the same thing, but it's for a different purpose. So it's whether it's, with one or whether it's with a wider group. One of the things that we're doing this year, in particular, we have a very ambitious goal to teach, then activate 1 million plus people to Imagineer a Better World and to social enterprise evolve. So profit with purpose. And part of this I've been writing about, teaching for many years, but especially on the blog. So on im2.tv, you can go to the blog and you'll see, for example, the social enterprise evolve. I think there's 8 or 10 articles there which explains more about what it is. And then there's examples. So there's, what does it look like in, for a medical centre, or what does it look like with water management, or what does it look like for the media or education? So that particular series is called A Futurist Solution 2, where I say a futurist is someone who studies the past, best practice from around the world in the present, and then identifies key trends for the future, and then works together with other people, uses their skills, knowledge and experience to bring about that desired future. And I just want to say, it was actually one of my Year 10 students a few years ago that really, he just kept saying to me, well, what do you think, miss? What do you think? And as a teacher, my attitude has always been, I want to lead by example, but I don't want to ever tell people what to do, because it's people's own free choice. But part of our role, if we are staying true to the Australian curriculum and the principles, is we offer the different choices. And especially as an English teacher, especially as a history teacher, that we are sharing. Okay, I'll just give you an example. Climate change. It's a big topic. Some people say, oh, climate change deniers. But when you look at, okay, the politics of the climate change agenda, for example, that's very particular. And that's nothing to do with people wanting to look after the planet. I would say everybody wants to look after the planet, but it's just a different way of looking at the same thing. I would say that whether we're on the left or the right, whether it be social justice or justice, we all actually want the same thing. And my role, I felt as a teacher, my role in writing these blogs is that I can offer up and look at the different ways, and then people can choose for themselves.
That's right.
They're in a better world.
Yeah, and because I have read a few articles on your website, I see that you have provided some really simple but intelligent solutions to various problems as you're just addressing it over here. It's very interesting. Ash and the Midas Touch is one of the books in your G2 Smart series, but prior to this, you have written some really interesting books. Would you like to mention what books have you written so far?
Okay, one of them is called The Man Who Came Back, and that was published back in 2020. And Ishani was interning with us back then, and so that was awesome. So she was very involved, for example, in the book launch and in the lead up to the launch of that book. And that one is, again, it's a graphic novel, and again with the awesome illustrator Nariki Tiariki. But that book is about someone who seems to have the perfect Instagram life. And then he comes home and it's not quite as it seems, but then he learns some secrets to success, and mainly through a Kung Fu master who comes alongside and mentors him. Another book, which I know Ishani has also read, is called Prosper as Your Soul Prospers.
Very good.
And that one is for older teens, younger adults, and also those in transition. And so it's a more of a holistic approach, looking at basic money management. And again, it's everything I do, it's got to be from a soul and spirit perspective. So how do we avoid the greed and poverty? How do we go towards generosity? So it's that proper profit with purpose, as well as our mind, our will, our emotions. So our mind is not only the practical nuts and bolts of having a spending plan, of being really intentional about your income, but it's also your mindsets. There's a lot of people growing up with negative money mindsets on money, as an example, that are not helpful, and we can get rid of those, but also our emotions. So especially when we look at G2M, she sort of is starting to introduce the concept of, emo smarts with money smarts, because it's so closely, close with each other.
Yes. So I definitely have read all those books, and they are really very helpful. I think the USP, I could say, the unique selling point for the books, I would say, is that they are very easy to understand because of the examples given in it, and I think The Man Who Came Back is also very visual. So that really helps you understand the concepts, and that's the best. I think that's what teachers really help you do. They break things into simple things, and they make you understand it in a very nice way. So I think, Catherine, you have done that very beautifully in your other book.
Thank you.
And for the book that we are here today, Ash and the Midas Touch, which I want to repeat and tell our listeners that is the first book in the G2M Money Smart series. If you are really wondering what is this book all about, then you can go and watch our other 4 videos. Yes, this is the last part of the video series that we have. Catherine has spoken a lot about what inspired her to write this book, the characters, why you should be reading this book, who should be reading this book. So please go and catch those episodes. Actually small episodes of the videos that we have. And before we close today, I just would like to ask Catherine this last question. Where can people get the further information, Catherine? Very important.
Okay. Probably I would refer people always to the website first. So .tv. So IM being the first two letters of Imagineering, the number 2 .tv. And then when you go in there, you can just, you'll see Ash and the Midas Touch there straight away on the homepage, but otherwise you can go into the products and see, and you can also see about the other books, and there'll be links of how you, or instructions of how you can, get your copies. And it just shares a little bit more about who we are, where we are. We also have YouTube channels, podcasts. So it's a very big project called Imagineering to a Better World, which is a social enterprise. And I just wanted to share the word Imagineering. So it's like imagine plus engineering. So having a positive vision and then a practical way to get there. So a solution. So Imagineering, and then Imagineering to a better world. So it's, anyone can do it. It's just, I just feel blessed to be able to, I feel like I have a stewardship ability, or a stewardship, almost like a commission to just carry this forward and to be able to share it, because I just see it's like gold. It's a way that we can really have a better world, because a lot of people keep looking over here, and we can look at the yuck. Yes, there's all this yucky stuff happening in the world, but we can just choose to look over here. And when we have a positive vision and then we have a practical way to get there, then we can, and this just, and one of the main things that I love in this book is you can actually see G2M start sharing how, and she teaches the children in the narrative of the story how to Imagineer a better world. So
absolutely. I have thoroughly enjoyed working on this book, and also with Catherine and her entire team. They have a wonderful message to share. It's just not a message, it's actually a mindset that they're creating, that they're helping people out. So I would like to close today and say thank you so much, Catherine. And I enjoyed asking you these questions. Wish I could ask this earlier while we were working, but it's so good that we could actually share with everyone who's listening to us, because then they understand why this book is created and what is the purpose. Would you like to have some parting words, Catherine?
Yeah. But also I want to acknowledge Ishani. Back in 2020, Ishani actually interned with us as a very professional master's student back then, already had work experience and did a fabulous job. And so she was really important, especially helping with the project, The Man Who Came Back. And then she was engaged as a professional graphic designer for Ash and the Midas Touch. And it might have been in this video or one of the other ones before that she designed the front cover. And so we're just so pleased that she's been able to join with that. So just want to acknowledge her efforts. And Nariki Tiariki, the illustrator. I've worked with him on 2 different books now. He's done a fabulous job. And hopefully we'll have some videos with him very soon coming up. He's actually from the Cook Islands, and he's probably 23 now. So, yeah, we just and one thing I love, one of the bits of feedback that I've had about the book is that people love the multicultural aspect of the book. Ash is from India, Dom is Italian, and then we've got just, lots of different interesting characters, and there's even a Chinese lady in it. And so for me, it's got to be fun. If we're not doing things that are a bit creative, a bit colourful, a bit fun, like what are we doing? Life's got to be about fun, and especially when we're learning. So I'm so excited when we've got people like Ishani that just come on board and help. And also it's interesting. So as I said, as the economy does change, as the economy does sort of come into alignment with probably where it should be, according to how much money is being spent, as an example, there will be an increasing need for people, or increasing understanding that people need to look at their finances, and we need to be teaching, especially young ones, especially children, teenagers, that money can be a tool. We don't have to get caught up and be, in debt all the time, and we can be free within that. And a big part of our finances or our money smarts is our emo smarts. So learning how to control our emotions. And some people don't realise that you can, but you can do that. I know I've been teaching this stuff for so many years, and I know it works. So we just thank you so much for watching. Come and see us at im2.tv. And, it's just been awesome. So thanks so much, Ishani, for being the guest interviewer today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Catherine.